My name's Phil Ince, Assistant Head Teacher Standards, okay. Basically that boils down to results. So I'm here tonight to talk to you about data and how we use data in school to actually raise standards and raise achievement as much as anything else. What do we know about data? I'm going to ask a lot of questions today of what you understand, break down any sort of myths that you have about it. What do you know about data at the moment? What sort of information have you been told, have you picked up through the last 6 months of your training? Anybody at all? Anybody?
The stuff on class profiles.
Anything at all that you know about data? It terrifies people.
Planning. Or you can use it to inform your planning.
All right, so we've got data users, but on what data do we actually have available to us within school? We're very data rich in all schools these days.
Leveling, the Jesson.
Right, so you've heard of something called Jesson, so I'll put that there. Anything else?
SEN data.
SEN data. What else?
CAT.
CAT data. All right. Anything else?
Just general stuff.
SATs. Key Stage 2. Used to do that at Key Stage 3, but no longer. Anything else? No. And you've also got estimated grades as well. Okay. And you might have heard of something called FFTD. Heard of that?
Heard of it, no idea what it is.
Right, well, I'll tell you in a minute. Okay. So basically, a school and you as individual teachers, this is really, really important to remember. You're going to be judged on your results, okay, on what you get, okay? It is a result-driven business like a football game in many respects nowadays, okay? You have certain teachers who we put in place in front of certain classes because we know that those teachers convert with those students. Everybody get that, yeah? You know, let's not mince words. I won't mince any words here. It's very proven here. I will put kids into sets based on their data. It won't be because they're hard-working and they're nice kids and they're all sweetness and light. They are there because of ability. Hi, miss, come in. It's all right. Okay? It's because of the data that I know about those students. All right? So what data do we have? What proven data do we get as a school? What proven data? What do we get out of that list? Which of these are actually done as a test nationally?
SATs.
Right, so we've got this one first of all. Which subjects do they do SATs in now?
English and maths.
Yeah. English, maths. They actually still, some schools boycotted them last year. This is why the government don't want to get rid of them. They're the only testing that kids do in the whole of their primary school existence now. So the first 6 years in school, that's the only test they'll ever do at the end of year 6. Okay? They used to do one in science. Now, the science is done separately, okay, by the teachers within their classroom. So really, there can be some favouritism there in my eyes. That certain students, you can try to assess them to the best of your ability, but if an individual teacher has taught them all year, there might well be favouritism that you're not even aware of within that class. It's just that if I sat with my students at geography, I'm a geographer by the way, and I was to do a GCSE course with them for 2 years, and I sat them down to do a paper, when I'm marking that exam paper, I'm also remembering what that student's been like for the last 2 years. There's no way I'm not going to. Okay, it's not statistically good enough for me. Okay, these are, because that's marked by Joe Bloggs millions of miles away. Okay, these. So that gives us some figures. What levels can you get at primary school? What's the highest level you can get? 6. So we've got level 6 to be the highest in those 3 subjects. Okay? What's the national average? Try it. 4. 4 is the national average. Actually, the national average equals 4.5. That's the national average of a SAT student. That's very important for you. Why? Because you'll have that information in all your classes. Is your student a national average student? Is your student a national below average student? Or is your student in front of you, each of the individual, not the class, the individual student above average ability? Now if you can imagine that, you can predict from that figure at Key Stage 2 you can predict that up to what they should achieve at Key Stage 4. Simple. If you've got a kid who's coming in with a level 5.6, which is way above national average, anybody who's an English teacher in here? Yeah, if you're an English teacher, if they're coming in with a level, such as with a level 5.6, everybody taught, she's up here, she should achieve a grade A or an A star at GCSE, and probably an A at A level. Because the progression here, if you're coming in at national average at 4.5, what should they really achieve, would you say? C. Okay? Examinations, I was thinking about this last night actually, when I woke up in the middle of the night, like I normally do, thinking about things. It's not done by accident. You know, they don't create an exam paper by fluke. It's done scientifically over month after month after month, testing various scenarios so that they know that a grade C student has been a level 4.5 student at primary school. If you're setting the exam paper too high, then these kids at 4.5 are going to end up failing. So you've got to be very, very scientifically provable to get that. Everybody following this? You ask me any questions, shout them out please as I go along. Okay, so you've got 3 SATs. FFTD, okay, takes in deprivation factors and SAT results at Key Stage 2. Okay? So every single student that you teach will get from that estimated grades from year 7. So as soon as the government get given the Key Stage 2 results for each individual student has an individual UPN number, it's called, all right, which is a unique number for themselves. Like we've all got our individual passport number, they've got their own individual number for them, okay? And they will be given targets, the government, through FFTD, which is basically deprivational factually run. What I mean by that is, if you're a boy, you're not going to do as well as a girl. Fact. Okay? If you are on the SEM register, you're not going to do as well as if you're not on the SEM register. If you are an EAL student, you're not going to do as well as a non-EAL student. If you are a free school meal student. And these are just facts. We can't get around that. It's a fact that they just don't. Okay? And they will estimate grades on that. In this school, we have a lot of negative deprivation factors. We have a high percentage of free school meal students. 43% of our students are on free school meals. Okay, for example. We have a high percentage of students on the special educational needs register, etc. So it means even though you come in with a 4.5 possibly, they might not well achieve a grade C. The government are estimating, because this kid is a boy on free school meals and has a special educational need, they would estimate that that student would end up with a D. Do you follow my argument there? Because of these deprivational factors. Okay? Level 5.6 is a girl, is born in September, is an English speaker, has no special educational need, they might well say grade A for that student. So they're factoring in those deprivational factors. Most schools will follow that you'll ever go and visit at the moment. Okay? I think it's rubbish, to be bluntly honest. Anybody think of my argument on why we have moved away as a school, moved away from FFTD? Anybody think why?
Maybe something in it, but that doesn't mean that it's set in stone and that people can't achieve those grades.
Absolutely, you've got to be aspirational for these students. We can't, you know, some of these students might have come into the country 2 years ago and might not have very good English skills. So you've got those factors there straight away, that those, you know, we've got some students in year 10 and 11, particularly year 10, who came from Zimbabwean countries, you know, not gone to school, some of the students actually, okay? But they've come in and are very able and have quickly caught up and surpassed what they got at the primary school because they'd only been there for 2 years. Okay? Any other reason?
I have 3 free school meals, and I got 4 A stars and 7 A's for my GCSE, so that's absolutely nonsense.
It is, but it's factually true. It is factually true. If you're on free school, you've got to remember, there are 7 students in Oxbridge who had free school meals. 7.
Overall.
Total number.
God, really?
Total number. That's why the government are all over it at the moment. Go on.
Surely it affects what you're targeting at yours. Is it saying, oh, you're only going to achieve this? Then why would you then say to people, oh no, your target is a D or a B? Is it
That's
a
right.
C or a B?
Yeah, it can be massively affect students' attainment, obviously. Okay, if you are in a leafy suburb, for example, you can also have a plus deprivation factor. All right, if you've got a very small number of free school meal pupils, if you've got a very small number of EAL students, then it can actually affect that as well. But we're not in that. We're a negative deprivation factor in school, quite heavily in the bottom 20% of the country. Okay, but really, if you think about it, when they sit these exams at Key Stage 2, those factors are already in place. If you are born in a leafy suburbs, let's take it for example, Knutsford. Everybody know where Knutsford is? And you've gone to Knutsford High or a private school very close to Knutsford, you will do better on average than a kid who's gone to school around here. You're not cleverer, but you've had private tutors, you've lived in a nice area, you've gone to a very small private school, you will do better at Key Stage 2. Fact. Okay? No way around that. That's why parents try and get their kids into certain schools. All right? Because it's all about, that's why house prices next to other schools are more expensive than they are around here again. Okay? So you've got that the deprivation is already, you're already a boy when you take that exam. You're already on the free school meal register when you take that. You know, very few people drop back into those deprivations. Very few people. If you're in there as a kid, you normally finish your school career being a free school meal student, unless they win the lottery. That very rarely changes. Very small movements of that, okay? So actually, that is already factored in with those test results. So from that point onwards, you can factor that up. Okay, of course you get free school meal students with these figures, but on average, they will come in at below the national average. And the factors, proof is in the pudding at Oxbridge, for example, where there are 7 free school meal pupils out of millions. Okay? So that's a fact. Okay? So what we actually moved towards then, we moved towards the idea of GESN. Forget deprivation. I've just been in a meeting now discussing this with the lady who does deprivation in Salford. And really, I can't change those figures. They've already gone half of their school lives to that point. Did you see that? Yeah? All I can do is to aim a progression for those students. Okay? So if you're coming in at 4.5 in your English, your target is at least to see, let's be aspirational, because then you can put in your professional slant on this, that this student is a hard worker. But I'm not going to set the impossible task here for this student of an A star. Yeah? That's what I'm saying. This student, if I'm targeting that student as a C, it's ridiculous. Okay? You've got to be targeting from day one in year 7, you've got to be targeting those. So that's where your banding comes in. So if anybody teach 7X? All right, anybody teach 8Y? So these students that are in front of you, they're all level 5s, every single one of them. So what really you're looking at is level 7, level 8 by year 9. Yeah? A's and A stars by the end. Now obviously if we are underestimating them through Key Stage 3, which is a national problem, that we underestimate kids and we're not pushing kids enough, there's a big dip at Key Stage 3. Okay? We've got to be really, with year 8 and year 9, be hitting level 7 and 8 work with these students to give them a chance to carry on that progression to A and A star.